So we got a pretty good idea of what, at a high level at least, Agile was about. But at that point we stopped. We needed to reassess and say, well, is it still the right approach? Because we're just about to spend a whole bunch of the bank's money. We're about to ramp up to a team of over 30. And is this going to be the right thing? Is it actually going to work for us? So we just spent a little bit of time, reflected back on our project principles, and we matched it to the Agile Manifesto as we understood it at the time, which really told us we wanted to concentrate individuals and interactions over process and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over customer management, and the ability to respond to change rather than just following a plan. So that was all fine, but there was one more step that we needed in order to make it a reality. We need commitment to it. It would have been quite easy for us to just do the development itself in an iterative manner. However, we wanted to be a little bit more pervasive about it, and we needed the commitment of our PCB. So what we did do was we put a case together and presented it to the PCB based on their business drivers that they'd told us. For example, number one, critical success factor, improved time to market, and then took that case to the PCB. Now you can kind of imagine the PCB meeting that we had. It was, I kind of consider it almost a cheerleading moment. We said to them, do you want faster time to market? Well, yeah, you asked, we told you wanted that. I said, do you want better quality? Yeah. Do you want to go live sooner? Hell yeah. And do you want more customer input? Of course we do. You say, well, that's great. So we've got the excitement up, but there's a but. What they needed to give us back, we needed access to the customer. We needed constant access to our customer. In fact, what we did do is we planted our customer inside our team, a couple of them. We needed the PCB to take an active role in prioritisation, so to be able to juggle up to take the 3-month outlook so that we could prioritise what we're going to deliver next. And they needed to accept some changes in structure, how we reported to them. They haven't seen a Gantt chart, for example. The documentation, we needed to go back and have a look at what they would expect in terms of documentation and realign those expectations, because Agile was going to make us do it differently. So we built them up, we leveled their expectations, and they still said, that's fine, go ahead. So at that point we had a commitment from our PCB, and we set off on the journey and we started the project. And that was the time when I went on holidays and Martin came in. So I wanted just to spend a little bit of time, and some of these, I guess, are my thoughts and things that I've been working with Martin over time. And I have kind of 3 perspectives of Agile. I'll start with Agile within. Come on. Oh, sorry. I just missed my own little joke there. The Agile ecosystem. We had a typo when we were working on this presentation, and it was ecosystem. But it was actually quite salient at the time, and quite right. We are dealing with a lot of egos when we're trying to implement an Agile project. Back to my perspectives though. Agile within. What are our stakeholders there? Well, it's really the project team. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but this is probably the best understood, in my opinion, implementation of Agile. There's loads of projects out there that are delivering to Agile methodology. The project team's doing it. They're pairing up. They're running in sprints. They're doing user stories. They're executing tasks. But I am going to leave more of that discussion about behavioural changes to Martin following me. And I do think that even if you only do that, there's still benefits. The big hitter is quality. We want it to be a little bit more pervasive than that, and that introduces some of the other stakeholders for us. And the second perspective I'd want to go through is Agile across. First one's dear to my heart, architecture. So architecture has a habit of a lot of reviews, a lot of templates, long documents, and that sort of thing. The typical solution architecture document, and I drafted the one for our project. The typical one would be probably 25%, discussing the business context, probably 75% getting into solution, detail, and specification. I had to make a decision. Am I going to challenge the the architecture process, the review process, and there's plenty of them. What I decided to do was not to. It was too hard. What I did do was I changed the focus of the solution architecture document. The one that we have is 75% focused on business drivers, 75% focused on the critical success factors, what we're trying to achieve. And I spent about 25% on technical detail. And it wasn't a spec, it's a context. It's the best word I can use to describe it. So it's really about a context within which our delivery, our sprints, our project team delivers to. And I spend my time now really patting things in on the edges where they fall outside of the context. We have the solution designer in the room here for the project, and you know, we had a conversation pretty early on to say, you know what, it's yours to design. As long as it stays within the context, we'll never have a problem. And the 75% part, if that context is met, I'm confident that I've met the business drivers. Now, whether it was luck or otherwise, that was enough to get us through our sign-off projects. But I did have to take some risks in that as well. So the traditional project stage gates had a 20% completed document at the start of a design phase. Now, the start of our design phase was actually we had started building. At the end of the traditional design phase, I needed to have that signed off at an 80%. At that point when I presented it, I was really asking for forgiveness, not for permission anymore. We were just about to go live, I think only a week later. So there was some risk in that for me in not challenging the existing process.